You are a slave. You may not wear physical chains, but you are bound nonetheless. You are a slave to the opinions of others, your mood swinging with every comment or perceived slight, your self-worth fluctuating with the approval of strangers. You are a slave to your own emotions, hijacked by anger when someone cuts you off in traffic, by anxiety when you contemplate the uncertain future, by despair when life doesn't meet your expectations. You are a slave to your circumstances, believing that happiness lies in the next promotion, the perfect partner, or an ideal body. You tell yourself, "I'll be happy when," and chain your well-being to a future you cannot command. This is the slavery of the modern soul, a prison without bars where you are both the prisoner and the warden, the captor and the captive. You are trapped by your own unexamined reactions and desires, your own misplaced beliefs about what brings peace, and it is exhausting you to your very core. But what if the key to breaking these chains was discovered not by a king or a general, not by a wealthy philosopher in a comfortable academy, but by a man who was, by law, an actual slave, a man who was lame, impoverished and exiled, yet who possessed a freedom so profound, so unshakable, that emperors might envy it. A man who considered himself the freest man in the Roman Empire. His name was Epictetus. His life is a testament to a staggering truth. No one is a slave who is not a slave to themselves. He taught that you can be imprisoned, tortured, and stripped of everything, and still be utterly free. 2,000 years ago, this crippled slave taught a philosophy so practical and profound that it became the secret weapon of emperors and leaders. He taught that the universe is divided into two parts, that which is within our control and that which is not, and he argued that all human suffering comes from confusing the two. Today, we will learn to wield the radical ideas that allowed a man in chains to find a freedom most of us have never tasted. You will learn to build an inner citadel, a fortress of the mind so resilient that nothing external can ever touch your core. You will learn to distinguish between what is truly yours and what is merely borrowed. If you are tired of being a puppet to your circumstances and a slave to your own mind, if you are exhausted by the endless pursuit of external validation and fleeting pleasures, then stay. And if this resonates with you, subscribe to this channel. Your attention here tells me you're ready for something real. The freedom you've been searching for is not out there. It's in here, and Epictetus is about to show you the way. The slave who became a master. To understand the power of Epictetus's philosophy, you must understand the man. His wisdom wasn't born in a comfortable library or a quiet academic hall. It was forged in the crucible of hardship, in the daily reality of being another man's property, in the knowledge that he was not a person, but a possession. Born around 50 AD in Hierapolis, a city in what is now Turkey, we don't even know his real name. Epictetus is a Greek nickname that simply means acquired or property. He was a thing to be owned, a line item in an account book. As a boy, he was sold and transported to Rome, the glittering, brutal heart of the most powerful empire the world had ever known. His owner was a man named Epictetus, a wealthy and powerful freedman who had himself been a slave to the Emperor Nero. Epictetus was a man who knew both the bitter taste of servitude and the intoxicating poison of power. One story perfectly captures the spirit of Epictetus's philosophy. It is said that one day Epictetus began to twist Epictetus's leg in a fit of rage. Epictetus, far from crying out, simply said calmly, "If you continue, you will break it." Enraged, Epictetus twisted harder until the bones snapped. Epictetus did not scream. He simply looked at his master and said without resentment, "I told you it would break." This story is a parable for his entire philosophy. The leg was external, outside of his control. It could be broken, but his reaction, his judgment, his inner tranquility, that was his and his alone. In that moment, the man in chains was freer than the man who held them. Recognizing his intellect, Epictetus allowed him to study under the great Stoic teacher Musonius Rufus. Epictetus absorbed the lessons that philosophy was a life to be lived, not just a subject to be studied. He eventually gained his freedom and began to teach, but his trials were not over. In 89 AD, the tyrannical Emperor Domitian banished all philosophers from Italy. Forced to flee, Epictetus settled in Nicopolis, Greece. There, this lame, exiled ex-slave founded a school that became one of the most famous in the Roman world. Students, including future governors and senators, flocked to hear him speak. They came seeking practical guidance on how to live well in an uncertain world. He never wrote anything down. His teachings were too vital to be confined to the page. But one of his students, Arian, recorded his lectures verbatim in the Discourses and Enchiridion, or Handbook. These are not polished essays, they are recordings of a master at work, challenging his students to wake up to their own power. And the foundational lesson is the most important philosophical discovery you will ever make. Principle 1. The Great Divide. This is the single most important idea in Stoicism, the key to unlocking a life of tranquility and power. Epictetus begins his handbook with this stark declaration: some things are within our control, and some things are not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and, in one word, whatever are not our own actions. This is the dichotomy of control. It is the fundamental organizing principle of the human experience. All your misery comes from trying to control the second basket while neglecting the first. You spend almost all of your time and energy on the wrong basket. You obsess over your body, your weight, your health, your appearance. You can influence these things with diet and exercise, but can you ultimately control them? Can you stop your body from aging, from getting sick, from being vulnerable to a random accident? You obsess over your reputation. What do they think of me? Did I sound smart in that meeting? Do they like me? You can try to be a good person, but can you control the rumors that circulate about you, the misinterpretations of your words, the biases of others? You obsess over wealth and property, your house, your car, your investments. You work, you save, you plan. But can you control the economy, a market crash, a natural disaster? These things can be taken from you in an instant. Staking your peace of mind on them is like building a house on sand. Epictetus urges you to look at the other basket, the one you've been ignoring, your opinions, judgments, choices, desires, and aversions. In short, your will. This, and this alone, is your kingdom, an inner citadel where you are absolute sovereign. No one can force you to hold an opinion or make a choice. No one can force you to assent to a false belief. Even under torture, your inner response is yours. This is the domain where you have absolute power. This is where your freedom truly lies. He says, the things in our control are by nature free, unrestrained, unhindered. But those not in our control are weak, slavish, restrained, belonging to others. Remember then, that if you suppose that things which are slavish by nature are also free, and that what belongs to others is your own, then you will be hindered, you will lament, you will be disturbed. This is a diagnosis of the human condition. You are disturbed because you believe your reputation, health, and the approval of others are yours to command. It's an impossible task, but what happens when you shift your focus to the internal world you can control? Freedom happens. Someone insults you. The old you, the slave, would be consumed. You replay their words over and over. You craft the perfect comeback in your mind. You seethe with anger or shrink with shame. Your peace is shattered. The insult is external, not in your control, but your reaction has made you a slave. The new you, the student of Epictetus, pauses. You recognize the insult as an external event, just noise. It is not in your control. What is in your control is your judgment about it. You can choose to see it as the ramblings of an unhappy person, as false and therefore irrelevant, or as an opportunity to practice patience. You choose. And in that choice, you are free. This isn't passivity. It is the most radical form of empowerment. It's about distinguishing between useless anxiety and effective action. Worrying about rain is useless. Bringing an umbrella is effective. The Stoic prepares for the external world, but does not attach their peace of mind to it. Epictetus would say, your entire task in life is to manage your faculty of choice, your prohairesis. Well, he puts it this way. Ask not that events should happen as you will, but let your will be that events should happen as they do. And you shall have peace. You give up the illusion of control over the external world, and in return, you gain real, unshakable control over your inner world. It is the best bargain you will ever make. Principle 2. The architect of your universe. Now we arrive at the second revelation. Nothing is good or bad in itself. Only your judgment makes it so. The event itself is neutral, a blank slate. The value, the meaning, the emotional charge, all of that is added by you. It is a story you tell yourself about the fact. Epictetus famously stated, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. It is not the thing, but your view of the thing, your judgment. That is the source of all your turmoil. The event is the trigger. The bullet is the judgment you load into the gun yourself. Imagine you are fired from your job. The event is simply that your employment contract has been terminated. That is the fact. The automatic judgment, this is a disaster. This is the worst thing that could happen. My life is over, produces panic and shame. But is being fired inherently terrible? The event itself is just a fact. The terrible part is a judgment you have added. What if you chose a different judgment? This is an opportunity to find more meaningful work. Or, this is a challenge that will force me to grow and become more resilient. Or even, this is a relief. Now I have time to focus on my health and my family. Same event, different judgments, radically different emotional experiences. This is not positive thinking. It is not about pretending a difficult situation is actually wonderful. It is about recognizing that the story you tell yourself about the situation is a choice. And that choice determines your experience. We are meaning-making machines, but we have forgotten that we are the interpreters. We have become slaves to the stories we tell ourselves, mistaking our interpretations for reality itself. Your practice is to become a detective of your own mind, to put a space between an event and your reaction. In that space lies your freedom. When you feel a rush of negative emotion, stop. Ask yourself, what is the event itself? And what is the story I'm adding to it? Separate the fact from the judgment. The fact is, my partner did not text me back. The judgment is, they don't care about me. The fact is manageable. The judgment is what crushes you. Epictetus is not asking you to be unfeeling. He's asking you to be precise, to understand the true cause of your feelings. The cause is never the external world. It is always the internal world of your own mind. When you master this, you become invincible. Not because nothing bad will ever happen to you, but because it will no longer have the power to destroy you. You will know that while the event is happening to you, the suffering is coming from you. And what comes from you, you can change. Principle 3. The indestructible kingdom. So who is this you that is choosing and judging? Epictetus calls it your prohairesis, your volition, your moral character, the command center of your soul. It is the faculty of choice itself. The rational, deciding part of you, that is the core of your identity. And here is the most radical part of his teaching. Your prohairesis is the only thing that is truly you. Everything else, your body, reputation, job, relationships, is external. Your prohairesis is the one thing that cannot be touched by the outside world. It is your indestructible kingdom. Epictetus believed that Zeus himself gave each of us this small piece of his own divinity, the absolute, unhindered power to choose. The Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on earth, could have Epictetus thrown in prison. He could have his body tortured. He could have him executed, but he could not force Epictetus to be afraid. He could not force him to despair. He could not force him to hate. He could not touch his prohairesis. The slave was, in his own inner kingdom, more powerful than the emperor. This is the paradox at the heart of Epictetus's teaching. This is the source of true freedom, the absolute mastery of your inner world. Most people neglect their will, spending all their time trying to improve their externals. They are polishing the cage while the bird inside starves. Epictetus urges you to do the opposite. Stop obsessing over the cage. Start feeding the bird. How? By paying attention, by being mindful of your choices. Life, for Epictetus, is a gymnasium for the will. Every challenge, every frustration, every interaction is a workout. The goal is not to have an easy life, but to have a strong will, so well trained that it can face any circumstance with tranquility and grace. Start seeing yourself not as a collection of your achievements or possessions, but as a prohairesis, a choosing faculty. Your primary job is to make good choices. When you identify with your will, you become invincible. What can anyone do to you? They can't harm your character unless you choose to let them. They can criticize you, but they cannot make you feel inferior unless you judge yourself as inferior. They can take everything from you, but they cannot take your power to choose. That is yours and yours alone. It is your birthright. It is your indestructible kingdom. Principle 4. The gatekeeper of your mind. How do you implement this in the heat of the moment? Epictetus provides a practical tool, the correct use of impressions. Think of your mind as a kingdom and yourself as its ruler. At the gate of this kingdom stands a sentry whose job is to inspect every impression, every thought, feeling, or urge that tries to enter. An impression is any piece of raw data from the internal or external world. Most people have no gatekeeper. Their gates are wide open. Every impression, an insult from a co-worker, a fearful headline on the news, a craving for junk food, a pang of envy seeing someone's vacation photos, is allowed to rush in, ransack the palace, and take the throne. Their inner world is in a constant state of chaos, ruled by whichever impression happens to be the strongest at the moment. A philosopher, a student of life, must become a vigilant gatekeeper. Your job is not to block all impressions. That's impossible. Your job is to stop them at the gate and inspect them before granting entry. Epictetus gives a two-step process. First, when an impression appears, say to it, "You are just an impression, and not at all the thing you claim to be." This creates a space between you and the impression, demoting it from a fact to a proposal. It stops the emotional hijack and allows for rational detachment. Second, apply the ultimate test. Are you related to the things that are within my control or to the things that are not in my control? If the impression is about something outside your control, what someone thinks of you, a future event, something in the past, your duty is clear. You say to it calmly and firmly, "Then you are nothing to me." You deny it entry. You refuse to waste your energy on something you cannot influence. If the impression is about something within your control, your own choices, judgments, or actions, then you grant it entry. You welcome it into the citadel. You engage with it and decide what to do. This is your domain. This is where your work lies. This practice, repeated hundreds of times a day, builds the inner fortress. At first, it will be clumsy, but with practice, it becomes second nature. You will catch negative impressions at the gate automatically, seeing them as proposals, not commands. You will have the strength to say, "Is this within my control? No. Then it is nothing to me." This is the art of living, the constant, vigilant curation of your own mind. You would not let any stranger wander into your home. Why let any stray thought wander into your mind? Principle 5. The re-engineering of desire. Now we must address the two most powerful forces that shape your life: desire and aversion. For most people, these forces are a chaotic mess. They desire things they cannot control: wealth, fame, the love of a specific person. And they have an aversion to things they cannot avoid: sickness, old age, death. This is a guaranteed recipe for a miserable life. Epictetus states with devastating simplicity, "Freedom is not procured by a full enjoyment of what is desired, but by controlling the desire. Your desires are making you a slave." Every time you say, "I will be happy when I get X," you're handing the keys to your peace of mind over to something outside of yourself. Epictetus proposes a radical re-engineering of your entire system of desire and aversion. The discipline of desire is not about eliminating desire, but about redirecting it. The work is to systematically withdraw your desire and aversion from the things you do not control, and to refocus them exclusively on the things you do control, the quality of your own will, your own choices, your own judgments. Instead of desiring a promotion, desire to do your work with excellence. Instead of desiring for a specific person to love you, desire to be a loving and admirable person. Instead of having an aversion to getting sick, have an aversion to being a coward when you are sick. Your goal should be to have an aversion to only one thing, a bad state of your own will, and to desire only one thing, a good state of your own will. Everything else should be met with a calm, rational acceptance that it is outside the realm of what is truly good or bad. It is merely material to be used by your will. This is what it means to live in accordance with nature. It means aligning your desires with the reality of the world. It means wanting what happens to happen. When you do this, you can never be disappointed. How can you be when you have ceased to desire that things be other than they are? When you no longer desire what you cannot have, and you no longer fear what you cannot avoid, what is left to disturb you? This is the path to true tranquility. It is the end of the emotional roller coaster. Epictetus suggests starting small. If you are fond of a ceramic cup, remind yourself that it is only a cup. Then you will not be disturbed when it is broken. From the cup, you move to your car, your house, and eventually, your loved ones. This is not about becoming unfeeling. It is about loving things more purely for what they are, without the desperate clinging that is the source of pain. When you have re-engineered your desires, you have achieved apatheia, a state of profound peace, clarity, and strength. Principle 6. The Stoic in the world. A common misconception is that the student of Epictetus is a detached hermit, sitting alone in a room, indifferent to the world. This is false. The final piece of the system is the discipline of action. It answers, now that you have a tranquil mind and a well-ordered will, what do you do? How do you engage with the world? The answer is simple and profound. You play your part. Epictetus believed we are not isolated individuals, but members of a vast, interconnected cosmos. We are citizens of the world, and within this world, we each have a series of roles to play. You are a son or a daughter. You may be a parent, a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, a co-worker, a citizen. These roles are not burdens. They are the field of action where your philosophy is made real. Your duty is not to retreat from the world, but to engage with it virtuously and rationally. How do you know what your duties are? Epictetus gives a simple guide. Look to your relationships. Is someone your father? This relationship implies certain duties: to care for him, to respect him, to listen to his advice, to be patient with his faults. Is someone your neighbor? This implies a duty to be helpful, to be fair, to not be a nuisance. These duties are your script. Your job is to play your part well. Notice, however, what this does not entail. It does not require the other person to play their part well. Your duty is to be a good son. It is not conditional on having a good father. Your duty is to be a good employee. It is not conditional on having a good boss. Your virtuous action should not be dependent on something outside your control, the behavior of another person. The Stoic acts with kindness, justice, and integrity because that is the right thing to do. How others respond is their business, not yours. This frees you from an enormous amount of resentment and frustration. You're no longer trying to control other people's behavior. You're no longer angry that they are not living up to your expectations. You're focused entirely on one thing. Am I playing my part well? Am I acting with virtue in this situation? This transforms every part of your life into a philosophical practice. Your morning commute, your interactions with your family, your tasks at work, they are all opportunities to act with wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. The difficult co-worker is not a curse. They are a chance to practice patience. The demanding project is not a burden. It is a chance to practice diligence. Life is no longer a series of things that happen to you, but a series of opportunities for you to express your virtue. The freedom you already have. We began this journey with a stark pronouncement. You are a slave to your emotions, to the opinions of others, to the unpredictable nature of the world. You have spent your life in a prison of your own making, rattling the bars of circumstance, begging for a key that was in your pocket the entire time. Epictetus, the man who was owned, the man who was lame, the man who was exiled, stands across 2 millennia and holds that key out to you. And on it is inscribed a single, world-changing idea. The only thing you truly own is your power to choose. That is it. That is the whole of the law. Everything else, your body, your health, your wealth, your reputation, the love of others, the state of the world, is borrowed. It is on loan from fortune. It can and will be recalled at any time without notice. To stake your happiness on these things is to build your house on a floodplain and pray for a drought. But your will, your prohairesis, your ability to judge and choose an assent, that is yours. It is the one piece of solid ground in a world of shifting sands. It is the divine spark within you. And the moment you realize this, the moment you stop identifying with the fleeting externals and start identifying with this indestructible core, you are free. Not free from pain, not free from loss, not free from hardship, but free from the slavery to these things. The events will still come, the waves will still crash, but they will no longer have the power to drown you. You will have built an inner citadel so deep and so strong that you can look upon the storms of life with the calm, untroubled gaze of a commander watching a battle from a high hill. This is not a philosophy of cold detachment. It is a philosophy of radical engagement. It is about engaging with the world fully, loving people deeply, and pursuing your goals passionately, but doing so with the secret knowledge that your ultimate well-being is not on the line. Your core is safe. Your will is your own. This is the freedom of Epictetus. It is the freedom to be insulted and not feel wounded, the freedom to fail and not feel like a failure, the freedom to lose everything you own and not lose yourself. It is the freedom to look death in the eye and say, as he did, "You can break this leg, but you cannot break me." This path is not easy. It requires daily vigilance. It requires the courage to take responsibility for your own inner life. It requires you to become the gatekeeper of your mind, the engineer of your desires, and the dedicated actor of your given roles. But the reward is the greatest prize a human being can attain: tranquility, a deep, abiding peace that is not dependent on circumstance, a quiet strength that cannot be shaken, the simple, profound joy of a will in harmony with reality. You have the key, you have the tools. The choice, as always, is yours. Will you remain a slave to what you cannot control? Or will you claim the kingdom that has been waiting for you all along? Thank you for being here, for choosing wisdom over distraction, for being someone who learns from those who came before. Subscribe if this resonated. Share it with someone who needs this reminder. Stay strong, stay present. I'll see you in the next one.